Vision space theory suggests a requirement for an independent processing system to be operational within the brain. Previous presentations suggest that the structure of phenomenal field is compiled from a duality of data potentials embedded within the light array. The assertion being that decoherence is taking place within the retina, suggesting that the two processes are essentially classical in nature and not operating at the quantum level. These orientations within the light array are independently processed but enmeshed within the visual pathways. Ultimately, each manifests as a unique take on reality, from which we compile perceived experiential reality. Initial thought suggests that while we are familiar with synaptic firing involving electrical and chemical processes, we should theoretically also be able to identify an alternative system, operating through the transference of wave-like data formations, leading to processes relying more on synthesis and convergence. I'm drawn by this requirement to recent work undertaken by William Tyler, building on initial considerations made by Francis Crick with respect to the movement of dendritic spines at synaptic junctions. These movements being suggestive of a distinct mechanical process running alongside and influencing synaptic transmission. As their research indicates, such a mechanism could go some way to explaining the observed neural response to a physical stimulus like ultrasound and blows to the head leading to unconsciousness. The suggestion here would be that the proposed second-order wave function embedded in the light array can be translated into or manifested as a physical impulse within the visual system, a situation where photons activate or trigger the mechanobiology of brain function. Ganglion cells are understood to send wave-like information to the brain, a function linked to dark noise and dark light. The propagation of a second-order data potential would involve high levels of correlated activity, and while this is apparent through and across the retina, would the mechanical coordinated communication function between synapses suggest a means for their extension and continuation into main brain structures? Vision space theory also suggests that the field structure serves disparate sense ecologies, spatial awareness in vision being integrated with that of audition, for example. This might indicate that multi-sense integration could be a principal function of this alternative processing system. A related consideration would be that if its properties realized in perception are those associated with the implicit take on reality, spatial awareness, and how we relate to others, then neurological disorders such as autism, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's are likely to be linked in some way to the failure or deterioration of these same functions. Circumstances where this system was made redundant or underused could induce or contribute to the onset of these conditions. The physical structure of stimuli repeatedly presented to the visual system could eventually have a physiological impact. If this were the case, vision space would identify that all our current forms of information display are entirely unable to stimulate this circuitry, as they lack the critical data formations. Over-immersion in the virtual environments of our screen technology could be helping to encourage the implicit system's redundancy or obsolescence. The point being that the brain is a highly sophisticated, highly tuned system, evolved to task. If we don't understand the visual system, then messing with the fundamentals, in this case the way we receive light, in an unsympathetic manner, is likely to impact in ways we are not in control of, and that threaten the functioning of the broader system.